Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to another video here from the Off-Grid Garage. And this is exactly the topic of today's video. The last capacity test we have done with our battery 1.0 here was on cold temperature. So the battery cells were actually standing here on the concrete floor. And I have measured the temperature of random cells here on top of this black cover. And it showed us around 11-12 degrees Celsius. So the batteries are fairly cold inside the garage here, and hence the capacity test may have come out a little bit lower than it should be. So I have actually taken 3 of these batteries inside the house and put them next to the fireplace. Yeah, we are warming up different things in front of the fireplace inside. But yeah, after a couple of days I realized the temperature is actually is not very constant inside the house, because the fireplace is not running all the time. And then if it's running, it's really hot, and if it's not running, the batteries cool down again. So I thought we need to find something better to heat up these batteries to 25 degrees. And I thought, what better can we take than the ZKE climate chamber? Man, we've got a heated carrying bag here. And as you can see, I have already connected here our heating pad inside. If you remember this switch on the outside here, it can do 18 degrees, 25 and 30 degrees on these 3 settings, and then we've got timer settings as well. So I set this one to 25 degrees now, and the batteries are snugly warm inside. This is an amazing carrying bag. It's fully padded and insulated here, and the batteries are sitting on this metal heating pad down there, and there's our temperature sensor. And let's have a quick look what we have here. 24.9, 25 degrees. So we're feeding the cables through these holes and connect them to the battery terminals inside the climate chamber here. Negative, positive, close the lid. Oh yeah, hang on. This was cell number 16, so we've got a bit of a history of this cell here. So the shunt tester measured 265 ampere hours. Then we had the A10, which is actually the A20 tester, connected the day after. We measured 271, and this was in December, which is our summer here in Australia. So the battery was probably not on 11 degrees, but more like 20-25 degrees. And then we measured again just a few days ago 259.3 ampere hours with a big tester on 40 amps, but this was in cold conditions, right? So we really want to repeat this test on this cell now with the correct tester here and the same thermal conditions as we had in 2020. That was 2 days before. Okay, we'll leave this in here. We've got our power supply connected to the heater. It kicks in whenever the temperature goes down, so it keeps everything at 25 degrees. We are closing the zipper, so they're all staying nice and warm. So they are in here for 3 days or so now. Perfect. All right. Let's have a look what we have. Okay, so what we need to do here is 6.5, 9 amps, fine. Auto. Come on. So we discharge with 20 amps to 2.5 volts. And before that, we fully charged the battery to 3.65 volts with a 9 amp cutoff. I cannot set, hang on. Yeah, that's the maximum I can set manually on the display. Unfortunately, with the computer you can set any value here for the cutoff. It should be actually 14 amps. So 0.05 C of 280 amps. Yeah, 14 amps. But 10 amps is close enough. So we do a full charge to 3.65 volts first, and then fully discharge with 20 amps to 2.5 volts, and then measure the capacity while doing this. That's the plan. All right. So the battery should be already full. I have charged them with the big Chinese cracker already with 40 amps. So it shouldn't take too long to fully charge. And then the discharge with 20 amps. That's a 14-hour discharge test. So I probably will see you late in the afternoon, late in the evening, after dinner definitely. It will be dark. It will be a late night show once we have the result for this battery cell in the climate chamber. And we are heating with 5 50 watts, around 50 watts now. It kicks in from time to time, maintains the temperature inside this chamber here. Nice one, SFK, providing test equipment. So we have only discharged 93 ampere hours so far, and I've just measured the temperature inside the bag here, and the cell we're actually measuring has now 33 degrees. Look at this. It's actually heating up while discharging. Yeah, they are still on 24, 25 here, but this one is actually getting really hot now because of the discharge current. Probably turn off the heating for a moment here, huh? 211 ampere hours only. I think I miscalculated a bit. It is already 10:30 p.m. and the test is still going. Maybe for another 3 hours, 4 hours or so. Well, the initial charge took longer than I thought. Okay, then it will be ready by tomorrow morning. Well, maybe we can kill some time by unpacking these boxes here. I know you love when I unbox stuff, so let's do it. I cannot show you this at the moment because this will be at least 2, 3, 4 dedicated videos about this device in here. That is amazing that it's already here. Okay, be excited. Let me just have a quick look again. Holy crap! It is one! Anderson connectors, 50 amps. Content: bookmark, Panda doll. Chengdu Sunmall Electronic Technology Limited Company, China. I have no freaking idea what that is. There is a panda in here. This is from Echo. This is the guy from Heltech. Wow. Ah, it's only in Chinese. I cannot read anything. I guess it is a bookmark. So nice. Thank you so much, Echo. That is really nice of you. Okay, I'm afraid we still have to wait until tomorrow morning until this test is done here. So have a good night's sleep. See you tomorrow morning in about 65 ampere hours. Good morning, guys. How are we looking with our test? Geez, what happened here last night? Oh yeah, so we are in 83, so we are in the third phase of this test, which is charging again to 3.65, but I'm not going to wait for that, so I'm stopping the test now. And we've charged 38 ampere hours into the battery already, so that is over 10%. That is fine. Let's open the climate chamber. 25, 25, 25 precisely. Look at this. This is a beast here. This is so great. I'll just pick a random one here from the desk. And we can see 9.4 on top of the battery. So the batteries here in the garage have 9 degrees without doing anything with them. And here inside 25. Perfect. Let's undo this battery. Number 16, and pull it out and have a look on the label again quickly. So the test back in 2020, this was 2 days before Christmas Eve, nice and warm, 25, 28 degrees inside the garage, of course. And this was with the same tester, the A20, A10 tester, 271 ampere hours. And I measured just a few days ago with the 40 amp tester, and in cold conditions, 259.3 ampere hours. But we have to remember, the batteries warm up themselves when testing, right? So pushing 40 amps through this battery for like 7 hours at 10, 12, for 14, 15, 16 hours warms up the battery. So it doesn't have 11 degrees or 10 degrees anymore. It probably is close to 15 to 18 degrees, so it's a lot warmer. But now we've got the perfect 25, so let's see what the result is. This was to fully charge, and now here comes the result. 261.7. And we have measured 259. So we've got an increase of exactly 1.4 ampere hours. Is that correct? 2.4 ampere hours. Yeah. Here you've got the results again. 261.7 in warm condition and 259.3 in cold condition. Or we have a degradation of exactly 10 ampere hours in 2 years. Right? That was in 2 years. But again, the battery was already 2 years old when I tested that, because they sold me old stock. Okay guys, I'll put all this information into the spreadsheet linked under the video, including the temperatures now, and we keep a history over time of this battery 1.0, the first delivery here for me in the off-grid garage. And we keep testing them at random times and situations and see how they perform in the future, right? Okay, so for now, I would say I'll keep testing these batteries. The next one is our famous cell number 6. Connect this here and connect this here. Oh yeah, the heater has turned on again. The lid is open, it's getting cold in here. Close it. All right, I would say let me test these other 2 batteries. This will be another 14, 28, 1.5, 2 days at least until this test is finished, and then I'll show you the spreadsheet and we talk a bit about this degradation, what we have measured, and if it makes sense. All right, see you in 2 days time. Peace.
One eternity later.
So we have now tested cell number 6, and the result is we could pull 250.3 ampere hours out of the 27 degree warm battery cell. I think this is even lower than we've tested before, right? Let's see. Yeah, we tested 255.8 before with the bigger tester and 40 amps, and now in warm conditions it's even less. This leaves a lot of room for speculation now, right? Okay, let's continue testing. Turning off the test. And we have measured, you can't see, 257.3 ampere hours. Well, you want to know which cell it was, right? Cell number 6, again. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, I couldn't resist and had to measure cell number 6 again, because we had like conflicting results. And now we have, well, let me put all the numbers into the spreadsheet and then I'll show you. What the heck? But I must say here, this SFK climate chamber worked amazingly. It just kept all the batteries constant at 25 degrees Celsius. It is so cool. All right, boys and girls, here we have my table of all 16 battery cells we have tested. Well, we haven't tested all of them. Guys, I have updated the spreadsheet a little bit. I've put a bit more information into the capacity testing now. So here you can see now the date, what kind of tester I have used, the ambient temperature during the test, the charge conditions, so the amps and the voltage, the discharge conditions, again, amps and voltage, the measured capacity, and this is the degradation I have calculated in regards to 280 ampere hours, which the battery should have. And I've done this for all the tests in the spreadsheet. You can see it here. I don't want to go through all the battery cells individually now here. Let's just pick cell number 6 here, for example, because this was always the problem cell, as you know. In the first test with the 40 amp charging, 40 amp discharging test, we had only 255 ampere hours, right? So minus 8.6% degradation. In the second test, where I had the battery inside the climate chamber, 25 degrees, I charged the battery again with 40 amps, but then discharged only with 20 amps because we used the A20 tester. And yeah, the result was only 250.3 ampere hours, right? And I thought, well, this is another 5 ampere hours less than we had with the big tester, with the 40 amp tester, in cold condition. And now it's nice and warm for the cell. So has it degraded already again by 5 ampere hours in a matter of 2 weeks? Well, and hence I did the third test with the cell number 6. Exactly the same, charged with 40 amps, discharged with 20 amps again, 25 degrees inside the box. And I could measure 257.3 ampere hours. So a little bit better than the 40 amp with 10 degrees. And we know the discharge current with phosphate batteries is not relevant. The Peucard factor is almost 1. So we don't see a big difference here when we discharge the battery with the high amps or low amps like we used to with lead acid. But these times are thankfully gone. So yeah, we have discharge with 40 amps and here with 20 amps, and here the battery was 25 degrees and here it was only 10. But again, it warms up during discharge with 40 amps. So we probably had like between 15 and 20 degrees somewhere. And the degradation was almost the same. So the battery is around 255 ampere hours, I would say here. And here's cell number 7, for example, we tested in 2020 with the A20 tester as well and had 279 ampere hours. And now we have done the same test again with the A20 tester, 40 amps charging, 20 amps discharging, 25 degrees, and have 257. So this is a degradation of around 7.5% in these 2 years' time. And probably we can pick cell number 16 here, because I measured this one twice when I got it new. Once with the shunt tester. I cannot really remember what the amps were actually for this test. Was this like 50 amps or something? I need to rewatch my own videos. I haven't got the information, so there's a question mark at the moment. But the cell tested only with 265 ampere hours during this test. And when I tested it again a day later with the A20 tester, 5 amp charging, 20 amps discharging, it tested better with 271 ampere hours. And then almost 2 years later, we tested with 259 ampere hours. This was with a big tester, 40 amps charging, 40 amps discharging. When I repeat the same test with this small tester and warmer climate, I'm getting 261. So this is again this is less than 1%. And I have contacted a few people now and asked them for advice in regards to the temperature, especially people who are living in the colder climates. They have far more experience with that. And they all have confirmed they can see a difference between very cold battery and optimal temperature battery, 25-30 degrees, of around 1 to 3%. And what I can see here, this is exactly in the same ballpark. Here's cell number 7, for example. Cold temperature, warm temperature, this is 0.7%. And here's cell number 6, cold temperature, warm temperature, 0.5% difference. We know the batteries are warming up during discharging as well. We have seen this here in the climate chamber when the temperature rose to 33 degrees. And we discharged only with 20 amps, but then for 14 hours. And this accumulates some heat inside the battery and heats it up a little bit more. So these 1 to 3%, what other people have confirmed with me, seems to be what I have measured here as well. There is one little problem. The test conditions were not quite the same, because I did use the crocodile clamps of the EBC, of the A20 tester, and connected them directly to the terminals of the battery. Well, in saying that, it's not quite true, because I connected them to the stainless steel rod, which is screwed into the aluminium terminal of the battery. And this is not the same as if I use a bus bar screwed onto this battery and connect my tester to the bus bar. Because then I have direct contact through the bus bar to the terminal of the battery, and I'm not using the stainless steel screw, which has a far higher resistance than the aluminum bus bar or a copper bus bar. So I really need to write down as well what kind of test conditions we need to do in the future to make it a little bit more consistent. And I could see the crocodile clamps, they got really warm, and one of them even has a little bit of discoloration now on it. So even the 20 amps over 14 hours creating some heat in this contact region, and could potentially make the tester turn off a little bit earlier because the voltage drop in this area was a bit higher. And this could be another 1.5 ampere hours of capacity we are missing here. So ideally I would use some test cables which I screw directly onto the terminals of the battery here and then connect them back to my tester. So we will definitely see a bit of variation here in these results, so take them with a grain of salt, but they give us a good idea in which direction we are heading. Okay guys, I think so far this battery testing for now. We will do more testing with these battery cells here in the future, as I told you, but we have to move on. Because these batteries here, they will go into the battery 3.0, which is just around the corner. All the material has already arrived today. Well, we have to start soon, but before we do that, I want to show you like 2 other devices I want to test with these battery cells, because I don't have any test cells anymore at the moment. Yeah, and one of the devices I want to show you actually in one of the next videos, maybe even in the next video, is the ZKE-Tech 4S 10 amp active balancer. Yeah, it's a 10 amp active balancer. Isn't that crazy? And I want to do a comprehensive test with this active balancer here on my cell 5, 6, 7 and 8, because they are now, I think 2 are almost 90% charged and the other ones are like 30% charged. And I want to combine these to a 12-volt battery, connect this active balancer here, and then we want to see the 10 amp balancing current flowing, right? And then we did capacity testing with single cells of these battery here, and you can imagine all these cells here are on a completely different state of charge. And this is exactly when this other device I want to show you comes into the game here. You probably can guess what it is, right? You have seen such a box before. This is how big it is. Yeah. So leave your comments down below what you think is in this box here. Very, very nice. I'm very keen to try this out, as well as the one Echo sent me here from ZKE-Tech, the 10 amp balancer. Okay, I'm drifting off the main topic here, testing these battery cells in warm conditions. I linked the spreadsheet down below. Have a look on the spreadsheet and let me know what you think about the test results. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your great support here on the channel, for buying me, now that's the other t-shirt, for all your very generous donations here. You are great, amazing and beautiful people out there. Until the next video, guys, you stay charged, stay safe, and thanks again so much for watching. See you then. Bye-bye. By the way, it is raining again. I cannot finish my solar setup here on the roof. It is constantly drizzling, raining, windy. Not good conditions for installing solar panels.